Good day, everybody. My name is John Morrell. I'm the Director of Enterprise Product and Portfolio Management here at Sandvine. And what I'd like to talk to you about today is our new Sandvine Enterprise Solutions and our new packages and the value it can bring to existing customers such as yourself. Now, if you're an existing Sandvine customer, it's highly likely you bought from us maybe 2, 3, 4, or even 5 years ago. But in that time, the application world has changed quite a bit. Certainly, COVID caused a lot of change in a lot of the dynamics of how your network needs to be operated. It introduced a ton of change. But in that time, the application world itself has changed quite a bit. More and more existing applications, whether they're SaaS applications or others, are now becoming super apps, meaning they're not only doing just the standard functions that they had done before, but they've added other types of content and have expanded out the portfolio within that application. And it creates a very interesting dynamic in terms of how it's going to draw bandwidth from your network. There's also much greater use of encryption within these applications and super applications, which again creates a different dynamic on your network. There are more and more streaming options, ways in which people will end up streaming information to them, especially in their own workplace. And there's more streaming as well as messaging within these super apps that I talked about before, which again draws more bandwidth and creates extra strain on your network. There's also a much wider variety of content types within applications. Some of those could be things like documents, which have a much greater load on your network. And applications, these super apps that I talk about, are changing much more quickly. There are new releases come out every quarter. New releases sometimes come out every month, which can change the way in which they work on your network, and also require companies like Sandvine to have to be able to work with those applications to understand and profile them and detect when they're running on your networks. So the impact on your network is these modern apps and these super apps draw much more bandwidth than they have ever done before. It's also causing your users to want to try to use more bandwidth and requiring them to even use these applications to have more bandwidth available to them. It also means that you're getting much more limited visibility onto your networks. It means that you may not have the level of insights. You may have blind spots within your networks that prevent you from really seeing what's going on. It also makes your networks far more complex to optimize. It means that the types of policies and the way in which you need to put in things like shaping policies or optimization policies becomes far more difficult than ever. And it also drives up the costs of managing your network, as well as forces you to potentially continuously add more bandwidth to your network, whichever increases your costs. So as we look at enterprise networks today, right, regardless of what industry you're in, we believe that you require 3 specific things. One is it requires greater observability, much more information and much greater analytics into what's going on your network, what traffic is flowing through your network, and at the same time have contextual awareness, which means I can drill down and understand what low-level factors or what attributes are causing potential issues on my network. I also need better control, which means I need a much more comprehensive set of tools that allow me to control the bandwidth, to control the performance of my network, and make sure that we are delivering a high level quality of experience and make sure that applications are performing as well as they possibly can. And then lastly, you need to be able to identify and analyze newer age malicious traffic on your networks so that you can identify these cybersecurity risks while it's on your network before it even gets to machines where it can cause problems, and then cordon it off in a corner and make sure it doesn't impose any threat to the real assets that you have, like your data. The previous world was really focused on managing your network by bandwidth. In today's world, it really focuses around managing your network based on application and user criteria. Before, you were making sure you delivered bandwidth. Today, you need to make sure you're delivering on your service level agreements in and around different applications and around different sets of users. In the bandwidth world, you really didn't know what you were spending on, so it could cause your costs to go way through the roof. And you would just spend in order to keep up with the bandwidth demand. In today's world, you can help contain your costs. You can optimize your network, focusing around the applications that are critical to your business to help control your costs, to not have out of control spend, and to increase the ROI on your existing investments. In the old world, there were a lot of blind spots. You could go dark. You could not understand why you would have problems. And you'd have to go through a lot of potential manual processes in order to identify what was going on. In the new app and user-centric world, you have full visibility into what's going on, and you have that visibility with complete context. Previously, any of your planning was you'd stop and say, I think we're going to need this much more bandwidth. In today's world, everything is data-driven. So you understand not only how to manage your network and how to optimize it based on the data that you have in front of you, and you have the tools that allow you to optimize it effectively. And then lastly, planning again was done purely based on volume. Now, in the new world, planning is done based on your service level agreements. And your optimization is driven by making sure you maintain your service level agreements with the key users, with the key applications in your organization. So with that in mind, we have introduced Sandvine's new Enterprise Solutions and Enterprise package. And we have three key aspects to all of this. And at the core of all this is Sandvine's unique industry-leading application classification technology, as well as our real-time data plane, data management, and policy management capabilities. And one part of our solution is network observability. So we've created what we call Enterprise Insights. And Enterprise Insights gives you this 360-degree visibility of what's going on within your network with this deep set of data and deep set of insights that we've been able to pull together. And we make the insights very actionable. We give you scores, we give you alarms, we give you anomaly detection in order to make sure that the insights are very actionable and you know exactly what you need to take action on. We also have the core of this package, traffic management capabilities. So you can look at your various traffic patterns, sometimes look for anomalies or spikes, or identify starving apps and users. And then from there, you can create automated policies that would allocate your network resources in ways in which you maintain the best possible quality of experience, as well as to eliminate manual processes that your NetOps team has to continually go through, and maintain a high service level of agreement with the rest of your organization. And then lastly, we have our cyber threat analysis and management package, which helps you identify application and traffic level patterns or security threats and block that activity. A lot of today's new cyber threats are doing things like spoofing themselves as specific applications. It could be a threat that comes in trying to mimic Zoom and then find a way to worm into some of your systems. We can detect those types of things, and we can add and supplement to your existing security coverage in order to further minimize the risk that you have and the exposure you have in and around security. So in comparison to what you might be using today as an existing Sandvine customer, you've got the existing AppLogic product set, you've got the AppLogic product set, and then you've got our intelligent traffic management software, which is packaged up as a use case. And the key things that are inside of those products are traffic management capabilities, the ability to optimize your bandwidth, and the ability to put in place policies that help do that, as well as the existing older DRDL application classification technology. And there are different pricing models for all of these. As you look forward, you have a couple different transition paths if you want. One is you can turn around and you can take your existing solutions and re-platform them, just in case you wanted to move to some new hardware or new underlying software packages, or move from, like, say, an appliance model to a vCPU model. So you do have the ability to take what you've got, move forward with a lot of that, and just re-platform. The other transition path is for you to move to our new enterprise solution package. And as you do that, you're going to be able to keep a lot of the investment that you've already had in your existing solutions. And I'll show you a little bit more now about why you might want to move to the enterprise solution package and the value that it can bring to you over and above what you're doing today. There are four key things that are new here. One is we have our new, much more advanced AppLogic classification technology, and I'll talk a little bit about that. Second, we gather much greater sets of data and much deeper insights and actionable insights than we ever have before with our new solutions. We also give you much greater control in terms of the policies that you might want to put in place to manage your traffic and to optimize what's going on in your network. And we now have our brand new comprehensive network observability portal and tool set that gives you much greater visibility into what's going on your network. And I'll talk a little bit about that as well. So what do we mean by more advanced classification? Well, now we are taking a look at a much greater variety of data. It's not just about applications and application categories, but now we've got things like content type, location data, device data, security information, and we're able to wrap all that around into a much more comprehensive view, as well as correlate all that information for you. We now believe that we've got greater than 95% application classification, which is tremendously better than any other vendor that might claim to have this type of stuff. And not only do we have application categorization, but we also now have content type classification, and we can understand content types within specific applications. So if you use Salesforce, but Salesforce also has video types as well as document types, not just data, we can detect that there is within Salesforce that you're working with video or you're working with documents rather than the other just generic, the fact that you're working with Salesforce. We also have better KPIs than in the past in and around DRDL. We have all these KPI measurements, we have scoring capabilities, and we have all context in terms of what's going on. So it's not just the fact that we've got KPIs, but we've got KPIs that then you can drill down and look to things like device, location, users, traffic, etc. So you can get a full understanding of what's going on by all the various attributes of what's going on in your network and that traffic. And so we also update this technology or classification technology weekly. And as part of the enterprise solution subscription, you get these weekly updates constantly so that we're able to map out the signatures of all these various applications and make sure you're up to date with all of those signatures. And so AppLogic is a new journey. It's a new evolution for us here at Sandvine beyond our older sort of content classification and application classification technology. So not only, as I mentioned, are we able to understand application categories, and we have way more application categories now, but then we also have content categories. And we're able to map and interweave the two of them together. So within application categories, I know what type of content categories I have. Within individual applications, I know what type of content I have. So we now have 14 different application categories. We have 11 different application content categories. We cover over 3,000 different apps that we can detect. Again, as I mentioned before, we're able to identify and classify 95% or more of all of the traffic, which leaves you with no blind spots. We are putting out 52 or more releases per year of the signature database so that we can make sure that you're constantly up to date. And the content categorization is a real game changer. It helps you better understand what's going on inside of these complex apps. As I mentioned before, you have these super apps now, and just take a look at things like Slack, which you can do messaging, you can do voice, you can do screen share, you can do other types of video. And so we help you understand that, hey, it's not just Slack that is an issue, but it's actually the voice aspect of Slack that's creating an issue. And I can go on and on inside these various apps. You also have much more complexity within the particular ecosystems of different apps. Just think about the Microsoft ecosystem and the complexity and the intertwining of all of these various individual apps between things like Office 365 and Skype and Xbox and others. And we're able to raise that up to a whole nother level by knowing what the user experience is within all of this technology. And we have dynamic content classification, which as we see the content itself, we're able to reclassify this and understand what's going on. And we're able to turn around and make sure that we are able to score it and understand what the issue is. And we're able to have much greater amounts of data in order to determine what exactly is going on within these applications. And so with AppLogic and with AppQoE, as I mentioned, we are gathering much greater sets of data. And today, with existing tools, you may have blind spots. You're not able to see everything that's going on. With Sandvine, we're able to apply our AppLogic technology, make sure that we're able to work with and use machine learning and analyzers to understand what this traffic is and to generate insights. And we now have much more metrics in and about that. Throughput, packet loss, things like jitter, latency, the amount of time a video was playing, the activity time, the time it took to start up a video or start up a stream. So there's all different types of data that we have now that help you identify specific issues that you might be having and then help you correct or optimize your network in and around those particular metrics or KPIs. And we have this methodology by which we're able to collect all of this data down from our data plane. Then we're able to turn it into KPIs that help you understand what's going on. And then lastly, model things so that we're able to score and make sure you understand what these KPIs mean within each app content type or within each application or other types of roll-ups that you might want to do across various dimensions. And so this is what a new model pipeline might look like, whereas we're able to get the data in, we're able to look at it, we're able to do feature selection and training on the model, and then we're able to put together a model that works specifically for this particular application or this particular content type, and we're able to serve it up to you within our solution. Managing this ecosystem of applications and application classification is a lot easier said than done. It's a constant change. Applications are changing consistently, and we try to keep on top of all of that. We also need new application-specific models because as applications add new functionality, the model by which we need to score that application may change, and the potential metrics that might get impact may change. And then we need to be able to scale it out according to this large app ecosystem. We have the resources in technology that we are applying to make sure that our technology stays as industry best and it helps you on a day-to-day basis maintain your networks and optimize them. The other key aspect that we're able to do in our new enterprise solutions is give you much more pinpoint traffic optimization and traffic management. So we've got a policy management engine inside of the solution, and we've got different ways, different methodologies by which you can optimize for particular applications. You can manage heavy users, filter content, and things like that. And the flexibility comes from not only our application classification technology, so now you can create policies based on any of those KPIs, any of those attributes that I talked about before, but we've also introduced a notion inside of these enterprise solutions of what we call application groups and user groups. And now you can turn around and stop and say, hey, here's a group of users that are particular to a department. Say it's my accounts receivable team. And I could treat them as an entity and apply policies to them as an entity to make sure that they get the bandwidth they need. Or I can create a group of applications that say, hey, these are my 9 to 5 essential business apps. So during the hours of 9 to 5, I need to make sure that these applications always get this level of bandwidth. And these are executed in real time. The policies can be very dynamic. So as if I change a group, you don't have to go change the policy. And we've got a whole bunch of built-in policy templates and easy scripting in order to accommodate those to your particular network needs. And we've also introduced what we call our new enterprise insights. And this is tremendously better than everything that we've ever offered to the market before, in particular to the enterprise and education markets. These dashboards are highly sophisticated, provide you with high levels of information, are very actionable in terms of the things that you might need to do, and able to give you then the ability where you find that you need to take action to drill down into it and look at it from all the various angles and dimensions that you need to. Everything is application and user aware, so we're able to score users, we're able to score applications, we're able to score application categories, we're able to score application groups, as I mentioned, all the same for users. And then we're able to understand what the usage and what the consumption is and what these KPIs are that's impacting the scores. We're able to set up and monitor, we're able to set up alarms and monitor for those alarms. We also have anomaly detection inside of the system. So you can see anomalies and immediately be able to stop and say, hey, this is a problem. I need to drill down on it. And we also have our traditional live view data, as well as troubleshooting and incident management tracking. With all of this great new offerings that we have in our enterprise solution, we believe, again, we can help you get more from the existing bandwidth that you have on your network, and then therefore get greater ROI on that investment. We're able to help increase the visibility that you have into what's going on in your network and help you to troubleshoot problems and solve them as quickly as possible. We also help you simplify the way in which you can optimize the bandwidth on your network and optimize your traffic to make sure that you're able to get the key user groups, the key application groups, and the key applications, the level of bandwidth that they need to operate effectively and to keep up the productivity of those particular groups of users. And then lastly, we're able to help you control your costs and maintain everything. We do have a very extensive ROI model that our sales teams can work through with you so that you can see that you will get payback on your investment in the Sandvine Enterprise Solutions. In general, we believe the payback comes within about 9 months. So your ROI will be greater than your costs within 9 months. So again, my name is John Morell. I'm the Director of Product and Portfolio Management here at Sandvine for our enterprise solutions. Please feel free to go up to www.sandvine.com/enterprise to see all about our new enterprise solutions and what they can do for you and how they can help you. And please feel free to reach out to your sales team and your value-added service providers in order to effectively better understand these solutions and make a determination whether or not this is going to add value to your network operations. Thank you again.